What's going on, everybody? In this week's lesson, we are going to check out 3 riffs that will help us get cozy and comfortable with 6/8 time signature. Now, 2 of these riffs are in drop D tuning. One of them is in standard tuning but tuned down, but we'll talk about that when we get there, okay? So for those of you real fast that are completely unfamiliar with how to count and feel 6/8, essentially you have 6/8 notes, 6/8, and they're grouped in 2 groups of 3, and you tend to have an accent on each one of those groups of 3, almost like triplets, right? And you can kind of sway back and forth a little bit with it even when you play it slow, right? So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it kind of has that swaying kind of feel to it. Okay, so the first riff we're going to check out is in a drop D tuning, and it's Third Eye from Tool. So many of you are Tool fans on this channel, so what better place to start, right? So this is straightforward. We're playing literally just 8 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And the riff is 2 measures, right? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 measures, okay? So we're going to play open D, and then on the 5th string, 8, 10. So you're gonna do that 2 times. That's the first measure. Then you're gonna move down to 5th position, do it once there, and then once back up in 8th position. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then they move on to that section. Again, the rhythm's the same, just the notes are changing. O, 10, 12, O, 10, 4, O, 12, 14. It's an octave shape if you're familiar with that. It just weren't, because of the tuning, we are not playing octaves. And there you go, right? Moving on to the next riff. So now we are gonna build on that simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and add some 16th notes to it. So the 2 and the 3, 1, 2, 3, we're just gonna add 16th notes, and we're gonna count those with 2 and 3 end. 1, 2, and 3 end, okay? And then do the same thing for the next, and that rhythm does not change. So it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6 end, right? And that sounds like this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6 end. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6 end. So the riff we're going to be looking at and talking about is going to be Red from Chevelle. Now the tuning of the song is in standard tuning, but it's down a step and a half. So it's actually in C sharp standard tuning, right? So that means this, instead of E, it's just down a step and a half. And every string does that. So I'm not in that tuning, I'm playing it in standard tuning, but the frets would be the same. Your just pitch is going to be lower for the song, okay? So we're going to be on the octave of E, 7th fret of the A string, and we're basically playing a whole step above it. Right there, 9, back to 7, 1, 2, 3, and then an open C sharp, but obviously I'm playing E. Like that, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to play a power chord, 3rd fret, and we're just going to lift this up and keep that rhythm. And that's the riff. And then as it repeats, you move the 3 to 8. Right? And then you can just palm mute it, and then the song starts. Right? And that's a really nice, common 6/8 feel. Builds upon the riff, the Tool riff that we looked at, which is just straight 8 notes, and then we start adding some 16th notes to it. Okay? Super common, very common feel. I love strumming chords in 6/8 time. So the final riff we're going to look at is the infamous Ghost of Perdition riff from Opeth. Now this tuning is in a this song is in a uncommon tuning. Not only is it drop D, but you drop the G string down and then you also drop the high E string down. Now, and the B string. I'm not doing any of that because to play the main riff, we can get away with just being in a drop tuning. So we're gonna do that for this, okay? So again, we're gonna carry over the rhythm that we did from Chevelle, with the 16th notes, and at least just for the intro of this part. And then the rest of the riff, it gets hard to keep track of the rhythm and try to count, right? At least for me, playing, singing, and vocalizing things is hard. This is not an easy riff, so when you're doing a lot of stuff, and it kind of gets lost, but it's mostly 16th notes, and you just nod your head, learn the riff, and you'll feel it, right? So we start out with this 8-7-7. Now again, my tuning is not the tuning of the song, just for the lesson. Spare me. 8-7-7, 8-7-6. And we're just chugging on the low string there, right? And then you get a great 0-3-5 drop D riff. 6-5-3-0. Sweet hammer on, open. Do one of those. A lot of open string play here, which is why I love this. 0-3-6. Basically open A and D. 4-5, open D, right? You guys can see the tabs going on. I don't want to get too deep into this. I'm not trying to teach you the song, just the riff in the 6-8, okay? And then you get this cool chromatic open string play, right? And there you go. 3 awesome riffs to get you nice and comfortable with 6-8, right? We started out with third eye, straightforward, all eighth notes. A very common strumming pattern in the Chevelle song introduces 16th notes. And then the Opeth riff, which builds on that and then gets way more complicated, but it's still just 6-8, right? Still just 6-8, and that's the main point. Okay? Down in the description below, you can find the links for the tabs and everything else that goes on behind the scenes. And as always, let me know what you come up with. So until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.